Hello there, my beautiful Cancer signs. This is Rachel with Dark Knight Coaching. Today's video is a tarot reading for you. This is a traditional Celtic cross spread that I pull with. Sometimes I get bonus cards, or I am intuitively guided to pull a little bit more cards to clarify. So I meditated on your energy here, Cancer. Before I get on camera, I meditate. I pull the tarot cards, and then usually after the tarot's done, I'll pull a bunch more wisdom oracle cards just to see what other cohesive messages Spirit has for you. Now, when I pulled all of your cards, it was very clear that this is a love reading. Some of you are new to love. Some of you have a love partner that you're maybe trying to leave behind that's not working out so well. There's a lot of emotions here, which isn't too surprising because, you're Cancer. And the timeline that I'm recording this video is during the Pisces lunar node, north node eclipse, and that is going to be very significant for you at this time too, because there's a lot of emotional shifts and changes happening, especially for water signs. So I do feel like that time period is being extra impactful for you when it comes to your love life and understanding and establishing what love is to you, and kind of maybe shifting your mindset when it comes to love on what your expectations are and what standards you're setting for yourself essentially, Cancer. So let's go ahead and dive into the tarot, and then if you like what you hear, please make sure you smash that like button because it helps my channel grow. So your current vibe, your current situation when it comes to love is you have the King of Cups. This is a tangible offer of love. It's like you have the opportunity for love. There is someone in your energy that you have maybe a long-term connection with, but it's being crossed and challenged here by the Queen of Swords. So this is a card that's all about discernment, truth, morality, being very selective with your energy. And the Queen of Swords is your challenge right now. So it's like, is this an offer of love that you want to sustain, to keep sustaining? Or is this something you're going to walk away from? Now, the foundation here is the Eight of Cups. So a lot of you, I do see you walking away from something that's not serving you. And maybe it hasn't been serving you for a long time. Or maybe you've just realized that you're not satisfied, or there might even be something about a third-party situation that's happening or has happened in the past, because there's the Three of Cups here. Now, Three of Cups doesn't have to symbolize third party, but whenever I get a 3 in a love reading, and this is very clearly a love reading, I get concerned, because usually there's sneaky behavior, and cheating doesn't have to be physical. It can be emotional, and I do feel like there's some sort of something happening, or this could be just an overindulgence of like drinking or something along those lines. But I do feel like there's some like sneaky snake stuff happening in someone's energy, and energy is fluid. So if this message isn't resonating for you, this might be just about whoever you're connected with at this time. Now, again, in your present energy, you have the Lovers card. This is like this means like your love is on the brain and you have a lot of love to give. The song that I was meditating to before I got on here to record was Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce, I think it is. And that might be a very significant song for you, or the lyrics in there might be significant, so you might want to look that up. But love is definitely on your mind at this time. But in the near future, I see you really going within and kind of contemplating, meditating, doing that inner soul work, the inner searching, and trying to heal some of these like shadows or triggers or wounds that you might be feeling when it comes to love. Because, we all have trauma when it comes to love in the past and pain and things like that, but we're not always sure how to channel it or funnel it. And Spirit really is asking and guiding you, Cancer, to go within and maybe isolate yourself for a period of time so you can have an unbiased perspective that will help you align to your highest best self and your highest best timeline. Because in your the power in your situation here is the Aquarius card of healing. That's what the star is. The star is all about healing. It's healing emotionally, because this woman is pouring the water, and the water is emotion. So you're healing some deep shadows, some deep triggers, some deep wounding. And again, that could be from a third party situation that maybe you were a byproduct of, or attached to by proxy. Like that either way, something's happening there that's really wounding you on a deep, deep level. And this could also be like triggering childhood wounds or childhood shadows that you don't even realize. And that's why spirit wants you to go within, because like maybe you watched your parents do the same thing, and that's why you were drawn to a person, because they reminded you of home. That's very common psychologically. We are usually magnets for people who raise, like, we're magnets for being drawn to or attracted to people who seem familiar, because they very much have a lot of similar traits or qualities to those who raised us during the ages of 0 to 7, because that's kind of when we get our like base downloads from those ages, and that instills a lot of our long-term choices and long-term actions until we figure out how to go within and heal those traumas and triggers. Now, the next card I have for you is like, how is this affecting people around you? Maybe people are seeing you as single and free and happy. Maybe you're not so much tied to or tethered to that person anymore. So it's like you have this opportunity for new love. And I did see 555 on the clock a little bit ago. So make sure you're checking out the angel numbers, because 555 is usually very symbolic of change. It can be a card of conflict and chaos as well, but change is usually uncomfortable. And that's what I'm kind of feeling here. It's like this newness is uncomfortable, and maybe you haven't been single in a very long time. But the Page of Cups is people seeing you, is putting yourself out there. And this, whenever I get this Page of Cups, I always just think of the dating apps. So maybe you've been swiping or whatever, but anytime I see a man with a fish, it just makes me chuckle, because I just think of the dating apps. So maybe people are really wanting to date you at this time as well. Now, in your hopes and fears, you have the Ten of Swords. It's like, stick a fork in you. You're done. You're done with the old ways. You're done with the old patterns. You're done with the old habits. You're walking away. You're really trying to evaluate what love means to you now versus what it meant to you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it is. But I do see that you're like, you're kind of burnt out when it comes to overgiving parts of yourself. Maybe you have finally realized the difference between love and limerence. There sometimes can be very confusing, especially for autistic or ADHD or neurodivergent people, or just even empathetic people in general. Sometimes it's very hard to differentiate seeing people through a lens of love versus seeing what they actually are providing to you and offering. Now, the outcome here, the potential outcome, is the Four of Cups. This is a card of apathy, like not being super happy with your options at this moment, which, if you're on the dating apps, like, I'm just going to say it, Cancer, it's not a great, the dating apps are not a great place to find love. Is it impossible? No. Is it viable for longevity? Rarely, because it's like you're swiping through each meat suit, like which one's my favorite today, what's the flavor of the week this week, and it's just a bit lacking in quality and oversaturated in quantity. So, to be cautious when it comes to that and use discernment here. Now, your subconscious energy is the Five of Cups. So there is progress here, because you have not only the Three of Cups, you have the Four of Cups, and you have the Five of Cups. It's painful. It's a painful process, because you're removing all these swords, knives, whatever you want to call them. You're taking all these out one at a time. And it's like a splinter, okay? Heartbreak can be like a splinter here. And it's going to fester until you fix it. It will bubble up to the surface, but it's going to be pretty uncomfortable until you're doing that like shadow work, until you're really leaning into this Aquarian energy of healing. And you might have a lot of Aquarian in your chart, or maybe even Gemini, Cancer, because you have the Lovers here. But I do feel like the juice is going to be worth the squeeze here if you can really tap into your inner self, your shadow aspects, into that subconscious energy, and see, how it is you ended up here. And sometimes that's a real slap in the face sometimes, because there's a lot of things that we don't see because we're like too close. You can't see the forest through the trees. You kind of have to take a step back to see the way forward. And that's kind of maybe why you're feeling a bit of this like regret and remorse, because you're grieving. So give yourself some space and energy to grieve, because any even heartbreak is a loss. Even if it's not like this person is gone, it's like this person is gone from your life. So they're like dead to you in a sense. So it is a grieving process. And there's, more than 7 stages of grief. And it's not linear either. Everybody likes to say like, oh, you're going to go through this stage. No, it's not. You're going to go through grief like a spiral, like a roller coaster. And sometimes it's going to feel like it never seems to stop, or you can't get a break. And then other times you're going to be like, wow, I feel good. I think I've healed that. And then later you realize like, oh, there was still a sliver of wood in my finger because, I got triggered by something I didn't even think would trigger me, and it still hurts a little bit. Wow. Yeah. So that's what I have for you when it comes to tarot, Cancer. Please make sure you smash that like button. It helps my channel grow. If you're interested in a one-on-one coaching session, please feel free to DM me or reach out. Or if you wanted a personalized tarot reading, kind of like what I did here, but I tap into your specific energy, I can do that too. Now, the oracle card I pulled from my Wisdom Oracle deck is Mending. And this is just confirmation of everything that's happening for you. This Hermit energy, this Aquarian energy, this healing, this introspection. And I do feel like you're healing the childhood wounds that that have been triggered that you weren't even really maybe consciously aware of at the time. But it is going to bring a lot of peace. And it's going to switch that 4 of Cups, that apathy feeling, into something that's very positive. Something that's going to bring you long-term happiness, because you're truly learning how to love yourself, and you're re-evaluating your perspective, your perception, all of those things, how you view love, how you view a partnership, how you view equal contributions to a relationship. A foundation of love should be built on a solid friendship. And if you have a good solid foundation, it's really hard to rock and sway that with any temptation, be it a third party or be it, I don't know, whatever else is tempting. But yeah, all right, let's pull. Let's see. I have Moon Oracle cards. Wow. Okay. You have a lot of synchronicities here. A new romantic cycle begins. New moon in Libra. Something about Libra time frame might be significant. Maybe you're going to meet someone. Maybe you're going to just put yourself out there. You also have growth. This is a card of wisdom. This is a card of elevating yourself. I like to think of relationships as something we can either grow together with or we grow apart. And, there's no shame in it, because everybody's their own type of plant. You can only go so far with certain people, and maybe that's all you were meant to do in this lifetime. But I do feel like you're having a lot of inner growth, and this is also tied to your heart chakra, which is symbolized by the green on the outside of this. So you're really tapping into that inner heart space, and your heart knows things before your head knows things, and that's a scientific fact. There's been studies done with heart research where people can, I don't want to say guess, but their heart rate shows that the heart knows what's happening before the head knows. But your heart and your head are connected by nerves, and they do transmit information back and forth all of the time. So yeah, I don't know why I'm saying all that like a doctor, but I am. So cool, interesting fact there, Cancer. All right, this card says, I am the creator of my future. I do believe that means to try to maintain a positive outlook, just because you have a lot of melancholy cards here, and it's kind of hard to shift out of the negative mindset when you're taking all these knives out of your back. But there is a lot to look forward to, and you are going to find a sense of direction, because you have the direction card here. So it says clarify what you're seeking, so the path becomes clear. But that's tied to this hermit mode. You can only really understand what it is that you're looking for when you really go within and you try to evaluate basic things, like what makes a good friendship, what is going to what kind of person is going to add to my life, what person would I pick to bring value to me, or my family, or whoever it is. So you have to really use discernment and your best judgment, and try to see what are 5 positive features about yourself that you would look for in someone else. And that's just a simple thing you can write down about 5 things I like about myself. And make sure you're putting and investing time into not only self-love and self-care, but into hobbies, because hobbies are going to create an individuation, because when you're occupied with yourself and your time and you're valuing that, it's going to draw someone else in that hopefully has similar hobbies or a similar mindset, and then you're not going to be codependent or something that's not really healthy. Like, you're going to have a life of your own and be perfectly satisfied with or without someone, and that's a solid foundation that you need to establish before you can really buckle down with anyone else. Now, the card I have about developing your intuition is develop. It says slow down and still your mind. Make the conditions perfect for your intuition to speak to you. Relax in the moment and listen to what your body and your mind are trying to tell you. Again, I just feel like that's that going within. Meditation is a great way. If you're like, oh, I hate meditation, I'll never do that. Okay, whatever. Go check out binaural beats, solfeggio frequencies. There's if you listen to like even Mozart while you're doing like high functioning cardio and you're like swinging your arms, which sounds weird, but it's scientifically proven, like you're going to get into a this like almost gamma brainwave state that allows you to tap into your higher self and your higher dimensions. And again, this is science, so if you don't believe me, go Google it. The next card is satisfaction. This one says you let the energy of love guide you to self-approval so that others no longer define who you are. And again, this is about building that sense of self, building this new identity when it comes to dating, and this new view on love and how that's going to benefit you. Because I feel like with this, everything I'm feeling, I feel like in the past, love hasn't really been enough. And I don't like to say that often because, like, you can really love anyone, Cancer. You can love anyone you choose to love. Sometimes, though, for longevity, for stability purposes, it's not always a good choice. So you have to be able to decide what's good for you in the long term, for the long haul. And then you also have the archetype card, the Mother. This is very interesting. You have quite a bit of feminine energy, so really healing those mother wounds, those triggers, learning how to mother yourself is very vital at this time, Cancer, especially if you did not have a good representation of a mother or a representation of what unconditional love is. It can skew your perception of love. If you were raised in a traumatic state where your mother was dependent on you for her emotional needs and fulfillment, chances are you are a people pleaser and you've given away lots of parts of yourself, and that did not serve you in any relationship. And that is kind of a harsh reality and a rude awakening for a lot of people, especially millennials that are going through things that were raised by boomers, because it's very common. Like, usually, you know, the father figure is absent or gone or busy working, and then the mother latches onto her children for her emotional validation and her needs to be fulfilled that way. But it puts a burden on them, and it makes love from a mother figure conditional. And then when it's conditional, that's all you'll ever know with love until you experience usually a devastating heartbreak, and then it triggers a lot of wounds, and that is usually what drives you to go within and understand why it is you chose those certain partners or why you were attracted to them, and then you can therefore see kind of the path of how you got to be where you were, and it allows you to do this mending and this healing. But it also allows you to mother yourself and to learn how to mother yourself now as an adult, in a way that should have been done when you were a child. So it's also about having that spirit of forgiveness for yourself and the mistakes that you've made, because everything is a lesson or a blessing. And if you're wise and if you're growing and you're coming from a heart space energy, you can truly see both. If you can find both of those things, the lesson and the blessing, then you're very wise. Now, the last card I have for you, Cancer, is from my I Ching deck. It says 26, great taming, constancy bears fruit, not eating at home, good fortune, fruitful to cross the great river. Taming means building up and controlling natural resources and nurturing their growth with an eye on what can be achieved in the future. Steady persistence over time will yield good results, and you can now move beyond mere survival, nourish yourself on new experiences, and allow your gifts to be of greater service. How can you make the most of your potential, and how would it be to master this? Wow. Okay. That's just another cohesive message. Like, you're finding your sense of self, which means you're finding your direction because you're going within. And when you know yourself and you know what you're doing and you understand the choices and the decisions that you've made, only then can you truly grow and make more informed decisions from an educated and unbiased standpoint. And it's coming from a spirit of forgiveness and a place of open heart space and open mind space. And when your head and your heart are in alignment, you are the alchemy master. You are the creator of your future at that point. You are guiding yourself out of the darkness, out of the shadow with this inner light, and you're traversing the mountain. So kudos to you, Cancer. Lots of good energy here. Lots of positive stuff. It's very heavy, but it's very much so needed. And it's really going to shift your whole perspective on love and shift a mindset that was not serving you in the past. So that's what I have for you, Cancer. Hopefully this helped. If it did, please smash that like button. It helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you next time.